Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of my JP's Jam Report monthly music review thing. I don't know if that's the name that's going to stick yet or not, but this is, of course, the series in which I tell you guys about the music that I've been listening to that's outside of the channel, as the music I listen to here is, a small focus, a certain niche of what I listen to in my overall listening activity. So this is where I get to go over my Spotify most listened and the albums that I've listened personally on my own for the month. And so we're going to do so for the previous month of April. I know I'm a little bit into May right now, but I kind of forgot about this. So, but I wanna keep some sort of consistency at least for a little bit. I'm not gonna promise, but I'll do a little bit, at least for the time being. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into it. So the first thing we're gonna put up is my Spotify top tracks and top artists for the month of April, which my top tracks are actually pretty straightforward here. We have From Gagarin's, which is a very, very wonderful piece of jazz that I've listened to for quite a long time. Great band. I've really enjoyed them. And it's just a really cool piece of music. It's calming, but there's some nice abstract in there. It's just a cool piece of music. Beyond the Chemical Door is going to be Job for a Cowboy from last month as well. I've been listening to that album a bit. Fentanyl Tester is from JPEG Mafia and I always forget. Man, JPEG Mafia, and they released one of my probably my album of the year last year. Like, I don't know why I'm forgetting it now. Anyways, it's a banger. In a Sentimental Mood, everyone knows that piece of jazz. A lot of jazz on the top tracks. And then Ellie from Veil of Maya, which are also on my top artist list as well. Just a really awesome, I don't know what they're considered, post-hardcore, some sort of core band that I've listened to for a long time, but that specific album, Matriarch, is one that I always return to from them. My top artists, which some of this will also be covered in the albums that I listened to for the month of April. I don't know exactly how to pronounce her name, but Chappell Roan or Chapel Roan, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her name, but I've been listening to her album, and it's my favorite album of last month. It's my favorite album from the month of April. We'll talk about that a little bit more afterwards, but I've been listening to that quite a while and a bit. Then we have Nia Archives, who just released an album as well, which we'll talk about. Veil of Maya, whom I've just discussed. With Sales Ahead, who actually also released their debut album last month. You'll see that I actually, unfortunately, totally forgot to put it on the list for what's coming up, but I'll have to add that in post probably. And then Baka Mart, a progressive rock band. The only reason you see them here is because that video hasn't come out yet. That video, listening to them, you should see that coming, I don't know, a week and a half or so. I don't know, I pre-record, so that's why they're on there. But that's my top streaming information. Let's go ahead and jump into the albums that I've listened to for the month of April. So at the top, we have Satoko Shibata with the album Your Favorite Things. This is an album that, if you look at the album cover, it is so perfectly embodied there. It's introspective. While I don't know what she's saying and what she's singing, it is absolutely beautiful to listen to. It kind of has this new romantic indie rock kind of sound. It's very just relaxing, but still a lot of great movement in there. Wonderful singing, great instrumentation. It's a really chill album to put on, I'll just say that. Like I said, with Chappell Roan, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. This is my favorite album of the month. I'll put that out there immediately. It is the top album of the month. This is this to me is the great side of pop music, because she's making pop, synth pop, something in that realm. And I think that like her approach to pop is so fun. It's bouncy. There is some introspection and reflection, very personal lyrics. But on this other side, it's a party. It's very fun, sexual, like it pops. This is the definition of pop music, and I think that this is a great debut from her. This is a great start to what I'm imagining is going to be a long and storied career, and I'm looking forward to more. Now, you have that I listened to Peter Gabriel with his latest album, I.O. I didn't listen to it on the channel. I listened to a few tracks as they were coming out with the whole moon cycle, but I just took it upon myself to listen to it on my own. And if I'm being 100% honest, I thought it was a pleasant listen, but a bit immemorable besides a few tracks and besides a few moments in those tracks. I still think Panopticon is a standout in the album. There's another song that's a standout on the album, but if I'm being 100% honest, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I could look at, if I look up the track listing, I could tell you, but it's, if I'm just being honest with you, it's not an impressive album, I don't think. I think that if you're Olive Tree is the other song I was thinking of that I think is quite good. But I think if you're like a big fan of Peter Gabriel, you're going to be happy. Otherwise, I think this is it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of, I don't want to say by the numbers Peter Gabriel, but you're getting what you expect at this point. I think it sounds decent, but nothing necessarily groundbreaking or anything like that. I also went ahead and listened to Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department, which I like a decent amount of Taylor Swift's music. I'm not like a fan, like a big fan, but I don't usually turn it off or anything like that. Actually, I really enjoyed her album Midnights last year when that was released, or was it 2 years ago? I'm forgetting now. Maybe 2 years ago, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, 2022. I actually really enjoyed that album. That one's actually a fun one. Tortured Poets Department, I thought it was really boring. I thought it was flat. I thought that there wasn't really a lot being said. It didn't connect with me at all. This is kind of what I would say is the complete opposite of what I want out of pop music, whereas Chapel is giving me something that's fun, energetic, thoughtful in some ways. Like, Taylor Swift is not giving that to me in this particular album, so not for me. A few fun songs there, and I have a certain bias towards the song Florida. I gotta. So there's that. Now, the fifth album there, Mia Archives, with Silence is Loud. Like I said, this album is kind of like an R&B, drum and bass kind of mixture, I would say, with soulful vocals. Is very fun, bouncy, positive, happy, with fast rhythms, of course, as you would expect from anything drum and bass or jungle music or anything like that. And I think that this is the kind of album that I enjoyed listening to it. I can't see it making a mark personally, but it was a fun listen. It's fun to put in on the car and like drive around with it. It's fun to put on in the background while you're cleaning the house. It gives you that energy. You can sing along to it. But that's kind of where I'm left with it. It's just a fun album, but nothing that's gonna necessarily cut beneath the skin, if you will. And then the final album was one that I had just gotten recommended to me on Spotify, so I said, let's listen to it because I've never heard of the gentleman. I've never heard of what he does or anything like that. And that's going to be Simon Denizart with his album Peace of Mind, which I gotta tell you is a really, really fun jazz album. Big melodies, great playing, great compositions in there. It's fresh and modern, but still adventurous. I wouldn't go as far as to call it like fusion or anything like that, but I think that the album cover actually gives you a decent insight into what you're going to expect to listen to it. It's going to be colorful. It's going to be vibrant. It's going to be a lot of different instrumentation. I still don't know a lot about Simon himself. I really just listened to the album just because it popped up and I said, let's just do it. And I got to say, I was quite impressed with it. So that was a very good album as well. And then, like I said, it's not on here because I actually just totally forgot to add it, but I also have to add With Sails Ahead and their debut album that they just released, Infinite Void, which I've been following With Sails Ahead since I first listened to them over on JPMP. And I've been following the singles that have been released from them. And I just think that they're a really, really cool band. I saw them live once when they came down here to Orlando. And now they finally released their debut album. And I think it lives up beyond expectations. It is fantastic. It is spectacular. It is great post-hardcore music. Sierra, the lead vocalist, her vocals have continually been progressing. The band as a whole has really been impressing, but I'm just kind of using her as the focal point. I like her growls and her screams, and I like how they're used. They have a certain emotional trajectory that I think the band captures. The band is sensational, by the way. I mean, just a really, really great post-hardcore band with a lot of different influences and a lot of different directions that they go in. And I think that there's something in that album that you can probably relate to, enjoy, dance, rock out to, whatever you're gonna do. Just a really fantastic album, that one. So Those are my albums that I've listened to personally for myself in the month of April. My favorite from this list, as I mentioned, is going to be Chappell Roan with The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. I think that that is just an excellent album to listen to. If I had to go for a silver medal, a second place, which I don't have to, but I will, I'll go with Sales Ahead on that end. So that's my monthly music review. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you're listening to. If you have a Spotify Wrapped, or not Wrapped, but whatever it is, maybe it is Wrapped, I don't know. Whatever it shows you for your last month's listening, go ahead and put that down in the comments. You can also join us on the Discord, where sometimes we chat about these things. And you can do all those other things that are always here on the screen. I appreciate you watching. Hope you come back next month for the review, or you can just come back tomorrow for whatever else is coming out. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.